All right. We are back at her with, I don't even know what episode number we're on here. I'm going to say this is lucky number 8, episode 8. And Everyday Edie. It's been a while. We've been off for Christmas. Life got crazy. We went on holidays and now we're back. And
we had full intentions on doing a podcast on holidays, but we just swam, hung out with family, and
holidayed.
Yeah.
Holidayed.
Drank Chunky Monkey.
So, Everyday Edie, if you guys are new here, we talk about anything, everything. No topic is too much. This guy will talk about anything. Forces me to talk about everything that I don't want to. That makes me uncomfortable, but it feels good to talk about it anyways. So, here we go.
Yeah. Mind how if you're on video, mind how we're looking right now. I was about to have a workout. We were just chatting, having a coffee this morning, and with no kids in the house. They're at Nana and Papa's, and we're like, Jesus, we should be recording this. So
100%. So this is our pajama episode. First thing, we've never actually done a morning podcast, so this is kind of nice too. And no children, so we're just gonna rock it out. We're like, fuck it, let's just do it as we are. And he looks homeless, and I look cozy as hell. And I don't know why I'm wearing shorts because it's minus 40. And let's do this. Yeah. So I wrote down like our notes because we were just chatting up a storm upstairs, and I think just like where we're gonna go with this. I don't really swear often unless it's something I'm really passionate about, or I just like get fired up. But this one is like fuck fear. Fuck fear. It really controls our lives, and it leads us. Well, it guides us. Yeah. I think fear is a good navigator. It's like almost like your intuition of something that you should be listening to.
Yeah.
No?
Well, I guess yes. No, it depends on your kind of fear, but fear fires you up, and I think if like I'm in a position right now where like fearful about a few different things and transitions that we're doing and stuff like that, and it's scary, but it's good. It means you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So.
Right.
Like whether it's a minute fear of like, oh, I'm going to tackle this project and I don't know if I know how to do it or not, whether that's a mechanical project or life project or whatever.
Or what about you? Fearful of just being, you're such a tough, burly man and you're scared to show some emotion.
Yeah, just being like vulnerable.
Being
and
vulnerable.
Leaving yourself vulnerable. Like, that's why like lots of dudes, I think, wear these thick, tough shells and stuff because you let yourself be vulnerable once, and then somebody takes advantage of you. Gus, that's why I said no. Go lay down.
Poor Gus just got shamed. Gus is our dog.
You leave yourself vulnerable, and then all of a sudden somebody takes you for granted, and then it's like, boom, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And
it
just
hurts.
with me trying to help people and stuff, and then it's like, well, then I start getting the self-doubt. It's like, well, am I good enough? And then this and that, but we go back and forth, and then I just say I just got to say to myself what I say to other people. It's like, if you can help one person in one way change one little thing with a nugget, then perfect. It's the whole reason why we started doing this podcast. It's like if me and you can talk,
yes,
and then one little thing, somebody takes one thing from what we're saying and it helps them better their life in one way or change something or have a different view which makes things better, then it's worth it. You don't have to take everything that we say you shouldn't take everything that anybody says as the gospel, right? But you should, if you can take one little nugget from it and it helps.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like we were just saying, like fear doesn't have to be something that's crippling to you. Like it can even be something that maybe you don't want to work out because you're just scared of like the commitment it takes or the effort it's going to take and how, I don't know, sometimes it sucks to work out because it does hurt, right? Or it's hard. But also like there's things like we were just talking about, being vulnerable as a man is something maybe that it's not like it's crippling fear, but it's something that's holding you back from fully being
here's an example of that just popped into my brain. Like while we were going on holidays and just in life, we've had lots of conversations. I have this way for some reason. It's like talking about sex with lots of like older people. It's like over 50. And they're like, oh, we don't have sex. Or
yeah.
It's like, why?
Why not?
Because you're 45 or you're 50. Like you don't, and then you don't want to have sex for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
Like, well, I'd like to. And then you talk to the other partner. Well, I'd like to. Well, why? haven't you guys talked about this and just had sex? Right? It's going to be super weird the first time. That's what's the best part about it.
Right.
Like,
And that's like that little bit of fear too. They're both like kind of scared to commit to that little step.
Yeah.
But maybe that's one thing that could change your whole like dynamic of your relationship.
oh yeah. Like, and then whether it's a guy that's like tried this way or tried this angle, and been shut down, and he's like, well, I don't want to try anymore because I don't want
Like
to hurt her feelings.
Hey, honey.
Yeah. And then she,
No,
and then
I've
she
got a headache.
Yeah. Exactly. And then she's like, oh, I'm not who I was before, and self-conscious about her body or something. He's not, right? Like,
Right.
Right? Like, trust me, right? Like, and then so she's self-conscious or whatever, so she doesn't think that he wants to, so then she'll flop him off, or he's not advancing on me anymore. He doesn't think that I'm attractive or whatever. It's like, why don't you just sit down and be like, hey,
Yeah.
right? I'd really like to have intercourse with you, and then actually talk about it. And
Right.
then, right? Like,
but I think that gets
put
a
it on
lot
the
of
table.
people uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I've had conversations with some guys before, like in the past too, and I'm like, well, just put it on the table. And then she's probably going to be like, oh, it's going to throw her totally uncomfortable for a whirl because you haven't talked about it for 8 years.
Yeah.
But then just be like, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. This is something that I would like to get involved in our lives again.
Yeah.
And then let it go for a little while, let it muster or whatever, and it'll be in her brain. And then hey, bring it up again. Hey, so have you thought about this? Or like, hey, I'm still thinking like I think that sex would be good for our relationship. Or whatever. It's like, fuck, you're 50, you're not dead.
Right.
Like, when I'm 50, we better still be banging, or I'll... Never mind. Right? But, like, right? It's like, no, like, why? That's a
You'll have a sore wrist.
If it's something, yeah. If it's something that you enjoy and it's good for your relationship, like, why aren't you doing it? You're 50, you're not dead. Like...
Right. I think you just hit the hammer on the head with like it feels like some sort of
Hit
like
the hammer on the head, the nail on the head.
the nail on the head. Seems like such a voodoo topic, but like you're not wrong. Like you were like Coach Rick, or I don't even know what to call you on this trip. Like so many couples have just talking and mediating and we do it too. Like that awkward topic of sex, and like I think for like what you said, I think a lot of the times for women, for me, I know for sure it was like that body, like thought of like, I don't think I feel sexy, or, but none of those things. Like that's not what you're thinking. You're just like, get over here. I love you. You're sexy as hell.
Right, and it's just the passion part about it. It's not even necessarily the visual attraction of it.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like
just
the connection.
the connection and the bonding of it, and right, it's a weird thing. And then you talk to so many people are on the same boat, and I don't think anybody talks about it. I don't know if I'm in the right place because we're not 50, but I do know.
But there's still like people that,
But I do know that there's people that are our age that are probably doing the same thing. But let's say, well, fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then guys being guys, and then you start thinking this, and that's what turns, I'm sure, tons of dudes onto like pornography and doing all that shit.
Which
It
is
did
like
it
a
to me in the
huge,
past,
like, yeah.
Right. And then you're just getting your kicks off super easy that way without having to have the chase and the interaction that leads to the kind
or
of
the
stuff.
letdown of your spouse being like,
Yeah, and that sucks. Being let down and turned down sucks, right?
Down.
It's not easy. And then guys would never be like, oh, well, she turned me down and it's hurting my feelings. Guys would never talk like that,
right.
Like
Then they just
but it does.
They just turn to something that's easier, or in your case, like you said, you just do it yourself.
Yeah, you do it yourself, or you're watching porn and you start cheating on your wife because then there's that excitement, and then it's like that, and then you feel wanted. Like to feel wanted is a big thing too, right? And there's all these other little variables, and all it comes down to is literally having a conversation with your spouse that's awkward.
Right, which stems back to the fear thing again, of just like having that fearful conversation that you think are like, there's so many things that hold us back from things in our life that are, one, amazing, two, feel amazing, and three, open up a whole nother door to like even for us, like we try to dedicate it to being like something that is part of just us, like connecting. And it's not like we're like every day we're like, get in the room, honey.
Yeah, sex alarm.
Sex alarm. I'm shocked you don't have one.
I do.
I do. But it is. It's made our relationship so much better and make me feel so much more confident about myself just having those conversations, knowing that you're not like, I just want you to enjoy being with me. It is, you're not looking at me in any ways being like, oh, that's not sexy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all these weird things that I come up in with my head. You're just like, I just love being with you, babe, because I love you, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. You tell. It's your brain, not mine.
Well, it's true. And like enjoy having sex.
Right?
It doesn't matter how bad you look,
Right?
you still
Like-
look better than my hand.
Like,
Like that's
I'm sorry if I laughed in the mic super loud.
yeah, but it's not the visual of it anyways.
No.
It's
It feels good, and you're connecting with your partner. And honestly, it's been something that I think has strengthened our relationship huge. Huge.
Come a
And I
long way.
love you watching you have that uncomfortable conversation with
other people, especially random people that we don't know on a resort. Like,
put the P in the V, and they're just like, what did he just say?
Why not? Why don't you? Well, what? Right?
Or like,
would you like?
do you
to?
have children?
Would
Yes. You had sex then.
Yeah.
Did it feel good? Yes. Why don't you do it anymore?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Would you like to have sex? Like, do you like that feeling? Yes. Okay. So why aren't you doing it?
Right?
Like that's the easiest one. There's so many people that have these big audacious goals and stuff that are like big fear, or like, oh, I'd have to remortgage my house to invest in this, but I could lose everything. And it's like, you're not gonna lose everything going to bed and doing a little
sexy time,
so
right?
sexy time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways,
I love
move
that.
on. We
I
can
didn't
move on
honestly
from
think
sex.
that our topic was going to go that way, but I think it's definitely something that we wanted to talk about more too. So while we're on it, like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And then talk about it.
But like,
the
okay,
things
could you
that you're
give
thinking.
somebody right now is like, yes, I totally feel that way. I want to have more in that in my life, whether you're a female or male watching. What would be like something like what would be a good conversational starter, or like what would be something that you could do to just be like, okay, let's get this ball rolling, because I haven't had sex with my partner in feels like years. Maybe it's been months, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like,
Just say it. Just put it on the table.
right?
I don't know. Like that's.
Or maybe
or
like
go on a date.
yeah.
How about that? Start with going on a date, and then see how the date goes.
Opening
and then-
up that connection door
yeah,
again.
open up that connection door, and then you
I
could
like
and then you
that.
could literally ease into it by as you're getting towards the end of the date or at supper or something. Be like, like we should really start having sex again.
Yeah.
That would probably your partner's gonna be like, boo.
Who are
Did you
you?
just say that? Or they might be like, yeah, we should. Or they might. Right, and not every date's gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at the love, and then it's the
Yeah,
end.
let's go home and make out.
Yeah, it's like Beauty and the Beast or whatever, like, some fantasy fall in love thing, but it's just putting that energy into each other. And when you are actually focused on each other, like I wouldn't be like in the kitchen and your wife's cooking supper and be like, hey, so when's the next time we're gonna have
Okay,
sex?
I'm so glad you said that too, because I think for women, me specifically, if I'm like folding laundry or if I'm like doing something that I'm like need to get done, or like dishes or like whatever, working on something, making supper, I think for me, I have to get this task done. So it's like, then it becomes like another excuse, like, no honey, not right now, like the shrimp is cooking.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck the shrimp, like shut that off, right? So it's like, it is as simple as that. We do come up with a lot of excuses to avoid that. Like for me, I'm like, sometimes it's uncomfortable, but as simple as you coming up and I'll be just like, I don't know, you'll just grab my hips and it'll be like, aha. I could just tell that you want to
Do it.
do it.
But that's not like that, and that's not as like for some couples that's not as easy as
No,
doing that. But
that's what I mean.
if
Like,
to
let's
get back
help
into-
some couples get back into that. Like, we've always had a pretty good sex life. Like, just because I think
We've
you're
always had sex.
Yeah.
The sex
Yeah.
life is getting better and
Yes.
better. And then that's you opening up and me opening up and
yeah,
like,
it's more so me opening up.
Yeah, definitely. But
Yes, definitely.
But like for people that get like on the topic of for people getting started, and it's like, well, and then I said, well, you go on a date. And it's like, well, the first fucking thing is go on a date your partner, put your
Yeah.
fucking phone down, and when you're there, be in the date.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Literally, if anything that's going on in the world, you can shut that shit off.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're mother-in-law is sick, and there's this going on and this going on, you have health issues, or something else is going on, if you can take that hour to be going for supper, you can take that hour to shut the shit off and actually focus on your partner.
100%.
Because that's where it all stems from.
100%.
Right? And it's the same, it's that quality time.
Yes.
And you need to do that on a regular basis with your partner. You need to do that with the people that you care about, like your kids and stuff. Fuck your dog. You have to take time where you actually play with just your dog. It's not just like, oh, hey buddy, but
actually present with it.
Yeah, and the same shit goes for yourself. You have to take time and book it in there to take time to sit down and actually be present with yourself. And not that you have to sit down and be like in my brain, oh, okay, what do I want with this? What do I want with that? Meditate.
Well,
or go for a walk in nature and just be in silence. Or turn the radio off in your vehicle while you're commuting for a half an hour,
and actually
just be with yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of stimulating like people.
I think we just
phone.
We fly through life so much and we're just constantly overstimulated by things.
We both do it.
100%, 100% guilty of that. But it is true. Like when you can actually just slow down and. Like how many times have we actually probably sat down for supper and enjoyed and chewed the food? Probably like. Rarely ever. Like,
dog.
But it's like, it are those simple things. Like when you're petting your dog, like look into his beautiful eye or pet him and like enjoy being with him.
Beautiful eye.
His beautiful eye. Our dog has one eye. Look into his beautiful eye.
Yeah.
But like it is, and like with your kids, when you're reading the book with them, watch how cute they are, like enjoying the next words you're gonna say.
One thing that
being
really
present.
hits my heartstrings is like we take lots of videos of the kids. I'm very present when I am there, but just being present with them, and then you try and look them in the eye, and you're like this, and you're like that. When you have the video of that and you go back and then you watch it and you watch their facial expressions, some of the ones you see, some of the ones that you don't, man, that's heart melting.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and then, or even like videos of like us, right? And like we keep looking at each other in each other's eyes, and that's cool. But then I miss the whole picture sometimes. And then you go back and you see pictures of us, and then just the little details that you miss when you're living in it.
Right.
And you're like, wow.
Right? There's been a few cute pictures that we've posted, and like sometimes you don't even see it yourself, but then someone will comment and be like, look at the way he's looking at you, and you're like, oh. You're right?
I just thought he was looking at me like the Undertaker.
But it's so true. I feel like we're just rocketing through this life, and we are so overstimulated in this hustle culture of just the go, go, go. I totally believe in working hard and striving, but I also believe in being in the moment and present too, right?
It's a balancing act.
It's
man.
a balancing act. There's no such thing as it. What do people call it? Like this balance of things. It is a fucking teeter-totter.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, people are like, well, how do you find the balance? Well, you never really find. Nothing is ever fully balanced. Like, I actually know how like balancing and vibration and stuff, but nothing is ever fully balanced. It's it's making little corrections to try and keep the teeter-totter within your set, I guess, parameters, you could say. Like, what is your standard? What is your standard? My standard for family, our standard for finances, our standard for our health, right? And our standard for ourself. Like, what are your standards on here? Set your thermometers on each one of those of what they is, and you have to switch this back and forth and this back and forth. If you have to really focus on the business right now because you're really busy, what do I have to do? Focus on that, and that's going to take some away from some of your other stuff, whether it's your time working out and in that, or it's taking a little bit away from your family. But you plan that ahead of time, then you can always come back and feed back into that.
That's that's what I call it, the different seasons. And I know, like, especially for us, like, all of our friends, like, always say to us, I know you guys are so busy, and like they can just see our lives, how it's like constantly going around and around. Like, we are busy people, but I think that's the thing. And then we we want to do a podcast, like, where are we going to fit that in? But then you schedule it in. So for us, every Sunday we want to record a podcast together. That's our time together. But look at this, we're doing it on a Saturday morning, unscheduled, didn't know this was going to happen. But sometimes you just have to pivot where you can, because we're going to have our kids back tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow's a shit show. Maybe a kid gets sick. So I'm really happy that we got this done now. Yeah. So, like, I think it's always a constant juggling act rather than.
But and then the you're so busy thing too. Like
I actually kind of hate that word.
Yeah, it's actually
it's like beautiful
that
chaos.
Comes back to us setting our standards too.
Yeah.
And our standard is like I
also hate the word hate.
Dude, I love you, but I'm not going to meet you every day for Sunday pizza.
Yeah.
or every Sunday,
Wednesday,
or every
Wednesday wings.
Yeah, like I'm not. That's not.
Not
That's
part
just
of your priorities.
It's not part of my priorities. It's not it. Well, I maybe the odd time if I happen to be in town, had free time, I'd be like, fuck, I think those guys are eating wings or something. Would I maybe call and show up? Be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I tell the truth too. I got guys that, oh, hey, let's go fishing. Nah, it's not really for me, right? Like,
Right.
well, no, let's go fishing. Nah, I don't really want to. Because if I had to decide between being on the lake in the wind, kind of freezing with you on Saturday, or sitting on the couch watching Beauty and the Beast with my son.
Beauty and the Beast wins.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Right. Like, that's just, it's just not. It doesn't fill my cup doing that. So I'm not gonna lie and be like, yeah, let's go fishing. Yeah. Well, oh, hey, yeah, we're gonna get out there. Now I just tell the truth. It's like, yeah, no, that's probably not gonna happen.
Right. And like 100%, like even if like, this is like a crazy example because I know it's something we've always wanted to do. Like if Candace was to phone us up tomorrow and be like, hey, we're starting to train for a Spartan race tomorrow. You in? I'd be like, fuck yeah. Like, I'm in. Like, you set your priorities, and I'm like, I don't know we're going to fit this time to train for this, but this is something that I want to do for myself. I think it'd be badass for my kids to watch me do this, and I'm going to find the time. Right. So you set your priorities to what,
and then I would
like a
support
fuck
you on
yes. Let's, like, this year is our fuck yes. If it doesn't make you say fuck yes, we're like, sorry. If it's something that you're like, you know what, this really feels right in my heart, I'm doing it.
Well, it's the same as 75 hard. When we did the 75 hard, right? It's like, well, how could you find time for that? And we just did it, and then we dedicated it to each other.
I
We're
felt
like,
like
let's do it.
the time worked out.
We had more time.
We had more time, which sounds so crazy. When you actually start prioritizing the things that are important to you, I felt like we had way more time. It was insane.
I don't know if you don't know what 75 hard is. It's a challenge. It's not a fitness challenge as much as it's a life challenge. But like you're doing two workouts a day. You have to do a selfie, read 10 pages of a book. You have to follow a diet. You have to not drink. You have to
a gallon of water.
Gallon of water every day.
One indoor workout, 45 minutes. One outdoor workout, 45 minutes. So it gets you outdoors. It gets you drinking water. Gets you eating healthy, reading, like everything that's amazing for you for 75 days. And if you
miss one thing on one day, you start back at the beginning.
Back to the beginning.
And then, but when we did it, we dedicated to it. We got through it.
Oh, we powered through it.
And then that meant like there was one night, 1:30 in the morning, and I had my Carhartts on, and I was trekking through a snowstorm, walking down our road to the end, and I had to be back at work at 7 o'clock in the morning. But I still did it because I dedicated to it.
But I think that's it. When there's something that your heart wants so bad too, I was so proud of you for doing that. But it's like one of those things where you keep a promise to yourself and you don't break it. Holy shit, does that feel good?
Yeah, you feel so powerful.
You feel so good. And that's where you also create confidence, is doing things that you said you were going to do and you stick to them. That people are always like, I actually just did a poll on my Instagram asking, like, what do people want to hear more about or learn more about? Because we love talking about personal development, all of things, just anything that intrigues us, we're going to share with you. And that was the question somebody had said, more self-confidence, where I think for me, my self-confidence comes from doing things, one, that scare me, two, doing things that I said I was going to do and follow the fuck through with them. There's nothing that drives me crazier.
You're terrible at that.
Right. There's nothing that drives me crazier than saying you're going to do something and then not do it.
Me and you literally will sit down one day and we'll plan it, and okay, this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do this. And I want to, like, I go more in depth. It's not just, okay, we're going to do this starting tomorrow. I'm like, okay, what time are we going to do it? How are we going to do it? And like, what are we going to, if this comes in, this comes in, what are we going to do to fight that? Okay. Then I know that's how I do my core 4 stuff, right? And it's like, what's my biggest challenge on trying to do that? But anyways, we'll sit down, me and you, we'll sit down one day, okay, tomorrow we're going to start doing this, and then at this time we'll do this with the kids, and at this time we'll do this with the kids. Yeah, okay. The next day I'll start doing it, and you're just, it's gone. It's gone.
I also have a squirrel brain.
Yeah,
okay.
but still, right? Like, and that's one thing that we're working on too. Like, we were
just having more systems and kind of having like a really just set schedule and routine within our house. Because I know for me, I'm such a hippity dippity go with the flow, which is great, but I do work way better with a system.
Oh, I'm the same way. I am.
So are our kids. Our kids thrive off of it too.
Yeah, and kids do. They thrive off of structure.
Structure, right? That's the better word.
And then I'm the same. Like, when I was younger, bachelor life, it's like, let's go. We can go with the flow. But I know me, as much as I hate it, me scheduled and doing what I do when I'm actually scheduled, way more efficient.
I was just gonna say that too. I think that was the thing, like with doing 75 hard. It also made you prioritize certain things, but when you're actually making those systems, you do. You actually free up more time within your day. You're more efficient when you're doing those things because you know this is the time frame you're doing them in, and hell yeah.
And if you don't go get it chewed off, then some things you're like, okay, that doesn't matter. I'll finish. Now I need to schedule finishing that later. Or sometimes it's like, okay, whatever's coming up next, now I have to move that out because I have to finish this one. And then it's easier just to make those little minute changes versus just like fucking winging it. And then at the end, it's just like, holy shit.
Well, I think even for you, like what you get done before, what time do you leave for work? 6:30ish?
Yep.
What you get done before 6:30 fucking blows my mind. Like what you get done in the morning already before I'm going to start getting up earlier, okay, guys? Okay? Yeah. Hold me to that. I'm going to say it out loud to the universe. But before I even get up, what you've already done is mind-blowing. So I just think you're so efficient with your time because, guys, you're not getting that shit back ever. No. Ever. That's our most valuable thing is our time. So let's not waste it. And I think you do such a great job of that.
No, it's because my night times with the family is a standard that's set.
Is a non-negotiable.
It's a non-negotiable.
So that's another thing that we are going to sit down every Sunday, write down our plans and our non-negotiables, because I think as a family we have things that no matter what is going on in the world, even if the Queen's coming to shake your hand, you'd be like, no, sorry, like this is a non-negotiable.
Queen's dead, huh?
Oh my God.
So
my God.
Yeah, she's going to shake your hand. Get the fuck out of there.
It's a scam. Yeah. Okay, bad example. I don't watch the news, guys. But no, in all seriousness, now you got me really mustered up. Queen's dead, shit. We have non-negotiables in our house, and a lot of that stems back to our kids. There's things that will never, ever in this world come before them and us. So
correct.
Set those with your husband or your partner or your best friend, whoever you live with. There's non-negotiables that should never come between you two. Yeah. And I think
as like a new couple, when you're young, like you should be setting that.
Yeah. But as couples, as non-negotiables, I think that's a cool thing to set. And then like with being new couples, I think it's just something you should set as well.
I think older people, when they get into relationships, it's easier for them because they've been through some shit. They know what they don't like. They bring that up. Younger people, I think you still have to set your standard. Like we always say gym and stuff like that, but it's just because it's the stuff that we're familiarized with. Yeah, but like if you're a young dude and you want to, then fitness is a big priority, or family is a big priority, or your dog is a big priority, or sex is a big priority,
or travel.
Travel is a big priority. You have to talk about that right at the beginning and set your go no go zones with your non-negotiables with your partner right off the hop. Yeah. So that way, if it comes up later, and then say I will never move away from my family. Being close to my family is a big thing. And then you in your brain is like, well, I really want to move back to, or so it was the other way around or whatever, but I really want to move back to Manitoba eventually and live in the mountains. That would be awesome. Well, you better talk about that. And then like, if it's actually no-go zone, say it right off the hop, because then it's no bullshit. Right? Yeah. And then when it comes up later, it's like, no. That's a non-negotiable. Or if you come from a relationship and you have kids already, and then the other partner doesn't or does, you have to set your standards right off the hop on that. Where it's 100%. Like, no, this is what I do with my kids. And then it's like, which, I mean, to me, that's a no-brainer. To some people, it's like they go from one relationship to another, and then all of a sudden now they're not spending any time with their older kids or their kids from another relationship because they are busier now in their new relationship, or because that negative energy that you're getting from your ex-spouse and all that fighting and stuff that you're doing is not feeding in your relationship and helping your relationship. Well, one, either ditch the fucking relationship, or two, fix the energy and be partners in it and figure it out.
Amen.
Like we know a few different couples that come from split marriages and split families and
trying
to
raise kids together.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Right? Like that sucks for them. But at the same time, develop a system and put the energy into it and realize that you're going to have to do that, and don't give up the fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I think that's beautiful, having the non-negotiables. And like, I know it's a new year and the whole stigma of like, oh God, now you got to set a New Year's resolution, which I think New Year's resolutions are bullshit. I really don't believe in them. I think anything, like, it could be, I just think for me, it's one small tweak. I just want to, like, if you were to sit down, this is like going back to the non-negotiable. If you just sit down, what is something that you know that you should be doing a little bit better in your life? It doesn't have to be something huge. For me, all it is just getting up earlier, setting my alarm an hour earlier, and actually getting up when it goes off is going to change my whole day drastically.
Every time that you actually get into that system and you start doing it, it works so good for you, and then eventually you just fall out of it.
Right.
Which everybody does that, but that's why Core 4 is nice, because then when you go, here's your map of where you're going, and then you lose it, and then you get all mustered up or you get lost, and then when it's time, it's like, okay, brain is like a switch. You're not like, oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do?
Circle
Go back
right
to your
back.
map. Go back to your map. What was I doing? Like, we left on holidays for 2 weeks. Christmas was before that, but I stayed dialed in during Christmas.
Dialed in.
But then we went on holidays, and I kind of left that behind, and we just were the whirlwind of fun every day. Right?
Yeah.
And like no cares and just being.
I was like living my dream life.
Yeah, it was awesome. But then when we came back, and I had jitters, and I'm tired from driving all night, and this and that, we gotta go back to work, and there's shit going on at work, and what I did on that Wednesday morning was like a Monday morning. Woke up at 4. I opened my journal. I looked at what I was doing before we left. Okay, Core 4, this, and this. Okay, and I flipped the new page, new date, wrote it down again, so it's in my brain. Shut it. Took my pre-workout. Actually, I meditated that morning, and then I was like, all right, boom, down to the basement. Let's go work out. Did I have a passionate, kick-ass workout? No. But did I have my workout?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, I'm back on track with what I was doing before. I went off on my map. I came back. I looked. Oh, look, I have a map. Okay, now we just go down this road again. Pick it right back up. It's easy.
You know what my therapist said? It goes back to exactly what you just said. When I'm in a funk and I'm in a slum crying my eyes out to him, he goes, well, what have you stopped doing that was working? I'm like, and it really made me think, and I was like, aha, and you're so right. When I'm in my slum and I'm not doing my best, I am not going back to a routine or a habit that actually really worked well for me. And then it's like you said, circling back to that Core 4 of like, what was it that I was doing that was working for me? What was I doing when I was thriving, right? And
do more of that.
Do more of that. Do more of that. And it was just as simple as that. And I don't know why. Ladies, if you're listening, my husband has told me this over and over, but the second my therapist told me, I was like, oh yeah, you're so right. I don't know if you just need to hear it from another person, but maybe if I'm that other person for you, get back to what works. And for me, it's getting up early, and everything in my whole day just goes, wha-bam. Fucking amazing.
And then you get some you time in the morning, which you need to reset.
I get my workout done. I get almost just about ready before I even wake the kids up. I've meditated, journaled, you time, all of the things. Had a shower and just about half getting ready, and my alarm goes off, and I'm like, I get to wake my kids up and get them ready.
Now you just checked half the boxes off on your to-do.
On my to-do list of things that fill my cup already before 7 o'clock, and it feels fucking amazing. So that the rest of the day I spend getting the kids out the door, and then I start my work week productive, happy, and like already crushed things. Like it feels so good.
You've got a lot better at that. That was one thing that I know, say a year and a half ago, that I remember I finally just told you, I was like, okay, fuck.
Like
that's
you need
enough.
to,
That's
yeah.
enough. We go, and then because you're like, oh, you're not supporting me on this thing that I'm so sad about. And it's like, that's because I've supported you through this.
Stop
3
crying
fucking
about
times.
it. Yeah.
3 times.
Time to
and then you
fucking
fix it. And then you fix it, and you do it, and it's working, and then you come back, and then we're back in the same place again. That's why That's why I'm looking at you cross-eyed with anger when you're telling me something you're so sad about. It's like, because we fixed this 3 fucking times.
Yeah,
right?
because this is back to the no bullshit, no excuses.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know what the hell it is, but I'm learning. I have to fucking go over the same thing over and over, year after year of sadness. This doesn't work. And then all of a sudden it's like, smacks me in the face. Oh! After my poor husband's just like, oh my God, I want to strangle you. But it's like sometimes you do have to have that epiphany and that realization of being like, okay, I've hit my rock bottom over and over and over. Girl, like, get the F up.
Yeah, but writing shit down and actually monitoring yourself and what works and what doesn't work is huge. Right? But then that though is vulnerability again, because then you notice what's not working, and sometimes that sucks.
Right, like
it
I
sucks
almost
to
could
admit
cry
that.
right now, because it's like, man, like why do you put yourself in those situations? But I think the more that I've done that, my bounce back is quicker. Like right now, I feel like I'm back in that slum again. I'll say it. Like, I feel like I've fallen totally, completely out of fucking whack.
Yeah, but it's just after, because you've been.
Well,
you've
after
been 3
Christmas
weeks of craziness.
was wild, and then we went on holiday. Like, it's been like more than 3 weeks. I feel like I've been off the rocker for like almost 2 months now. But, anyways, I'm like, okay, instead of doing this whole year cycle of sadness and depression and oh my god, I'm like, okay,
What do we do?
what do we do? I've already like got
75
back.
hard.
75 hard, yeah, so aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
But I've already got back into my routine, my habits, and each day, like I always like do it simply. Like you are so good at breaking it into smaller steps, and I say this with my girls too. Okay, just get to day 3. 3 days of working out, getting up early. Perfect, you do that. Okay, now get to day 7. Awesome. Now you did that. Now you're on day 9 and I feel phenomenal, and now it's so much easier to get back into it. Don't be like, oh my god, it's going to take me 6 weeks to get back into this. Yeah, it is. But like, oh my god, you made it to day 3. Fuck yes.
Right.
High
And then
five.
Don't expect it to switch back in one day either. Take your time and don't get mad at yourself if it does. Like when we first came back and I come down and I have like a shitty workout, and then instead of doing what I used to do, like, oh, you fucking shitty ass workout, you didn't even like go all out or whatever. It's like, yeah, there. You got to pat yourself on the back to be like, hey, you did this. Okay, good. You did that. Was it the best? But whatever. Don't even think about it. You did it.
Yeah.
And that comes back to pick your battles and own your victories, right?
Yes.
You got to be proud of yourself for the little things, and then because that's a progression. And then once you're rolling
that.
again, then all of a sudden it's like, woo, yeah, now we're kicking ass.
Well, that's even like our first day back. I'm literally like on the floor crying, like just a hot mess. And I'm like, okay, I know this like takes like 9 days for me to get out of this cycle. And I'm like, fuck. I was like, by next Wednesday, I'm like, that's a long time. Like, but then even like, I was like, okay, pick yourself up. Do like get dressed. You know that makes you feel good. Get dressed. Get outside. I even did those 2 things. I was like, oh fuck, I feel amazing. Next day, my husband asked, how are you? I'm like, I feel great. Like it was just like, sometimes it's just pick yourself up. Pick yourself up. Just try one thing that you know is going to help you, and just keep getting up for yourself every single day.
Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, and I literally have a high five in our bedroom, a high five hand, and it's like, yeah, high five. Like, yeah, maybe today was just getting off the floor and getting dressed and not crying and getting your fucking life back together.
Yeah, but you did it.
I did it. I was so proud. I was like, cake auto, we're going to get groceries. Did that, felt good, made a meal. We're just like, and then life just started like, every day just got better and better and better. And now we're doing a podcast. I feel even better. Like, right? So it's just, I think, just pick yourself up, girl, guy, dude, man, dog, whatever. Pick yourself up. Do one thing. One little thing. One little tweak. Don't make it huge. Don't overwhelm yourself. One little tweak.
One little step.
Yeah.
One step at a time,
One
baby.
step at a time. So I don't know if there's any nuggets that you guys took from that, any little tidbits, but I just think, you know what? We're all on this fucking spinning rock together, and we just want to help you as much as we can. So one little thing.
Life is a fucking trip.
It's a trip.
Right? Like you talk to these people, you go through these things, you shake your head after, you're like, holy shit.
You fall down, you get back up. You fall down, you get back up.
Only here once.
You're only here once, man. That's
Enjoy.
why I get to do it with this crazy guy and that Gus over there, my wild kids that are with Nan and Papa. Bless their soul.
Yeah. Right.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks
Have
for
a
listening.
kick-ass day, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.